I'm a fan. Oh my god. Hmm.
topic. So share your thoughts. Would love to hear them. Thanks again, and send us anything you know, 'cause I know for sure it's going to be throttled by the algorithm. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.
Snoring, gasping, exhausted. Wake up to Zepbound, the first and only prescription medicine that improves moderate to severe obstructive sleep apnea (OSA) in adults with obesity. A breakthrough treatment that significantly reduces breathing interruptions during sleep. After taking Zepbound for just 1 year, many people had no OSA symptoms. Don't take it allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family have medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. Stop Zepbound and call your doctor if you have severe stomach pain or a serious allergic reaction. Severe side effects may include inflamed pancreas or gallbladder problems. Tell your doctor if you experience vision changes, depression, or suicidal thoughts before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. If you are nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills. Taking Zepbound with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and worsen kidney problems. Wake up to Zepbound. Talk to your doctor and visit Zepbound.com.
Eczema is unpredictable, but you can flare less with Ebglyss. A once-monthly treatment for moderate to severe eczema that helps you spend less time managing your symptoms.
Ebglyss can deliver real and lasting results, like skin that's still more clear at 1 year. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive eye vaccinations before starting Ebglyss. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. Rare skin, itch relief. Once monthly dosing with or without topicals. You can flare less with Ebglyss.
Hey everyone, back with another news recap of the week, and there's a lot of news to recap, and we'll recap itself. I'm back with a fun trip out to Taiwan. Shout out to the viewer who saw me on Elephant Mountain, and then who needed my help being guided back down. That's another story. We'll talk about that another time. I'm glad you made it down, though. Everything worked out okay. There's some news to recap. Intel has a new CEO. AMD says demand for its GPUs is unprecedented, and MSI says it won't make any. Additionally, we have a computer refurbishing event coming up, but I've got, I don't know, about 10 pages of news here, so let's get into it. Before that, this video is brought to you by the Height Y70 Touch Infinite. We previously reviewed the Height Y70 non-touch series and found its overall build quality to be good and competitive. Now, the Y70 Touch Infinite ships with a custom 14.9-inch IPS touchscreen with a 60 Hz refresh rate. The screen connects to your system build and can be used as a showpiece on the angled corner front panel, displaying stats, music players, videos, and more. Height's entire Y70 series now also includes multiple new colors, like the Taro model that you're seeing here. Learn more at the link in the description below. First up, we have a special announcement of an event coming up. This is the first ever meetup that GN has done, where we're working with the Cramden Institute. It's a local e-waste and computer part refurbishing group that works to basically try and salvage things before they go to e-waste, to reuse them in computers that can then be distributed to people who don't have access to computers, or at least not good access to them. And then anything that can't be saved, they send through the proper channels or recycle themselves. So we're hosting this event with that. It's pretty cool because there's two things going on. One is a garage sale of parts. So stick around, that's broken. What is it? It's a CMOS battery. It goes down the line.
today we're going to be playing Two Strikes, and honestly, I don't know too much about it other than it looks really sick. Baki and Musashi Miyamoto are in it, and it recently came out. And unlike
Sugar love. Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, you're wanting to know, how does she see you now? You want to know if she misses you too. Going by your cards, Wheel of Fortune. Oh my god. I can't. Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, you're wanting to know, how does she see you now? And you also want to know if she misses you. Going by your cards, the Wheel of Fortune in the primary position mainly conveys that her feelings towards you are in flux. This is further evidenced by the Sun being in the secondary position in reversed. It mostly conveys that while she would like to be around you, due to whatever events have happened between the two of you, it seems like she finds it hard to be around you right now. This is further built upon by Five of Wands in the final position and reversed. It usually harkens to a lot of drama and outside parties who are giving very clear opinions on the matter. So it would seem that most likely her friends have also said things about you, or at least advised her on the situation. Overall, from what I'm seeing, she does miss you, but she feels like it's a no-go area. She feels like it would be very difficult to re-engage with you right now. But I do see that changing further down the line. So if you want further details about what the future holds between the two of you, as well as what options work best for you in terms of assuring that both of you reunite meaningfully, you can give me a call or send me a message. Hello, Sugar Love. You're new to this. But I don't mind in. What does I don't mind in mean? It's supposed to be I don't mind listening in. Well, that was a voice audio I was doing for someone. Why does my remote always disappear? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I need to stay in that sweet spot where his heavy attack won't reach, and the leg will. Oh, he backdash. Yeah, I don't know if we're plus there. I'm probably plus after.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, did I go over that? No, Baki made me play the wing guy. Yeah, I just gotta make that whip and then I can whip punch. The category of the stream is 2x for me. You have to change her as a Twitch bug. No, this is if Reddit had its way, this is what 2x would look like. Ah, that's good. I think parried. Oh, yummy. What, is he gonna make the comeback? Fuck.
You're feeling something.
Yeah. I just have to wait.
Maybe.
The heavy.
Why do you ask?
He's giving me all the screen space. I need to take advantage. Oh, what a beat! Oh no, wait! He's starting to learn. Footsies. All right, there we go. All right, let's close this out 5-0. Oh, he's learning. I need him to defeat him before he learns. Oh, I parried. I got him. I can parry too. Yeah, he was starting to learn towards the end. Parries are the key. Like, once we get good at parrying, let's go! W money match. Money match for $5.
I can tell your actions.
I'm gonna like go.
What do you mean?
Discord, and I'm at everyone.
What do you mean by that?
Your strongest player.
What does that even mean?
The game is too fundamentally based. At everyone. Do I do it? Give me your best player. No, I can't do it. Wait, is it not like a matchmaking rule? North American Online Battler. All right. Give me your best player, please. I challenge your best samurai. Yeah, surely that will
Prosonta.
Everyone.
What?
I'm ripping it.
Wait, what are you saying?
I'll say sorry.
Wait, what is your what is your like birth
There's a
language?
tournament tomorrow.
I could probably just understand it better if you just use what you're comfortable with.
Where's Aya? Where's Shenyan? Wait, I don't know any of these characters. Let me at least beat one life. If I can beat one life, I think they're saying this guy's S+. I have to figure out the broke shit with him. Wait, this stage is sick. So I feel like this guy has like multiple different things he can have. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, wait, that's cheap. Tournament says Shinigami's banned? This does seem like a pretty strong move. Look how far that goes. I feel like that's a free parry though, unless you can like bait it. Oh, that goes so far! Oh, I parried. No! Fuck. Oh, that's so close to being the arcade mode. What the? No, this character has to be broke. Look how far that went. What the? Oh, finally we're being this arcade mode. Oh, Maki's so fast too. Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Wait, why did I fight this guy again? Wait, why did I? Oh no! Oh no!
yeah. I completely wasn't thinking.
Surely I just won, right?
I guess the hum just came out of me. I was actually singing. Never mind. Actually, I need to go ahead and upload that to a random. If they'll allow me.
He's one of the 3 people in this tournament. This is going to be our final exam. You know we're top 8 in DVMC was popping.
Another update.
Alright, press the 5. Lock in.
But no, it was nothing. It was just a song related to
Oh shit!
a spirit.
Oh fuck no! I think this is new music. This is like the final boss.
Mhm.
Lock in. To be the best 2 strikes player.
Mhm. Oh my god. That is a lot of text.
Oh, that was so clean! Oh my god, this guy's clean! How the fuck did I get a game? Footsies! Okay, 2-0, 2-0. If you... Okay. The main comes out? I don't think I've seen this guy yet. Oh, this guy's so fast!
My room is quiet. You mean like the chat? I mean, that's just kind of normal for this site. People don't really come around unless they like actually have a question they need answered.
Oh, nice footsies!
So some days it's just slow. Some days it's
Some of
very
Gabby Hanna's
busy.
Messages from her Patreon.
I have 1,000 questions. Oh yeah? I think the
Some of Gabby Hanna's
I think the
messages
age-old
from her Patreon
equation
have been shared
with that
on Reddit
is,
and on TikTok, and they
I
are
have no doubt
maybe,
there's lots of people
worse than you would expect
who could
from
probably
Gabby.
ask 1,000 questions, but
Gabby tends to be. So what I wanted
I
to
think
say
you'd be
is
hard
go
pressed to get all of them answered
some
without
extras. So
some
before
sort
I
of
do that, I need to
monetary
make something very clear so
exchange,
we're all on the same
at least
page,
here.
which is that all of the messages that I'm showing
Which is
today
why it's
are
usually
not
not crazy
open
busy
chat.
unless
This
it's
chat is
like
open to the public.
Valentine's
Anybody can see
Day
it.
or
Anybody
a
can join it.
holiday.
Anybody can message in it, right? The chat itself is called Open Chat, which you can see right here. And if you actually go to Gabby's Patreon,
Yes,
it literally
extremely
says everything
understandable.
is free and public. No membership
I don't
needed
think
to view. The chat
anybody
is
here would be
question.
here
We scroll
on the
down
platform
is
if they were just
Open
doing
Chat,
it for
join
free.
free. And when I went into this chat to verify that these messages that were being posted on Reddit and TikTok were real, because obviously I had to verify that before sharing anything. For one, I wasn't like infiltrating a private group chat. It is fully public for anybody to go into and view. And for two, people in there were talking about the fact that the group was public and that anybody could join and anybody could see it. Even some of the most recent messages in there were about that. So to be clear, and to recap, this is not private information. This is a public forum that is open for anybody to see and anybody to join. And Gabby herself makes that clear. And the chat itself is called Open Chat. Everybody in there knows that it's not private. Okay, this is not me showing private DMs. This is all public. And I know I'm repeating that a lot, but it feels very important. Anyway, so
Ooh, I got another
like
audio.
I said, this was shared on Reddit, and I went through them, and they're really
Come on
bad.
now, Ancient King.
They're really quite bad. So let's just have a look at the first few, and then I will show you from.
I'm a Taurus woman taking a chance on an unstable Leo. He has negative and positive attributes. Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, it seems that you're just wanting clarity on the situation between you and a guy that you're talking to. Going by your cards and from what you've already laid out, the devil being in the primary position immediately fits with what you've already described, since it does represent things like vices and an inability to control oneself when it comes to impulses and all sorts of sometimes nefarious activities, which you already brought up the smoking. So that's the main thing showing up there, is that it's definitely not something that he's willing to let go. The Tower being in the middle position does show that ultimately this will be a line that he's just not going to budge on, which will cause a lot of resentment and a fallout between the two of you. Queen of Cups in the final position does show that generally, because of all of these push-pull forces going on and the lifestyle's not really matching, that the romance and any potential future together doesn't really look that good. So from everything being shown, I don't think you should really be putting too much stock into this relationship right now, because as it seems that you're already aware, he's not really going to be able to match your lifestyle. He's just not going to be willing to change. It doesn't mean anything about you. Just some people, it's very hard for them to let go of certain habits in their life, especially if it's something that affects them on a chemical level like that. Now, if you want further information about what the future holds between the two of you, what the little other obstacles could be between you, as well as some options that would best work for you if you're willing to make this relationship work, you can give me a call or send me a message.
More to explain away the glaring evidence that she was obviously just building a drama channel career, and then it was, you can't respond because she's pregnant and that's harassment, you're hurting a pregnant woman, and then it was, she just had a baby, you can't respond, you're harassing a new mother while she's with her newborn. It's not. And it only gets worse from here, but I, like I said, needed to go and check these for myself, so I ended up screenshotting a lot of these messages kind of in more chronological order. So we're going to go through my own ones because I feel like I got them a little bit more in order and I have a little bit more context here, but I just showed you the ones that were on Reddit so you could have the context of what was being posted there and why I thought this was so egregious. Right, are we all in agreement there? So to start, we have Gabby saying, it doesn't help when a woman starts to the world is delusional, crazy, and dangerous. And this is in response to Stevie saying that misogyny is coming from women, which is ironic considering the fact that Gabby Hanna hates women, in my opinion. And in the opinion of a lot of people, honestly. So The next one, and again, this is just going in order. This was me scrolling down, okay? But I think I just screenshotted this one because I thought it was hilarious. And these messages get so bad, and it's hard to not be actually angry at some of the things that Gabby says. So I feel like we need a little bit of humor. And this user says, they attacked her from all sides, isolated her, deplatformed her, called her a liar, and YouTube washed their hands of it. What they didn't realize in doing so is that they turned her into a martyr, just like Jesus. And just like Jesus, she will rise from the dead. There are so many parallels with the story of Joan of Arc. I suggest everyone reads up on it. And that comment got 2 likes. Comparing Gabby to Jesus got 2 likes. I do fully believe that Gabby herself thinks that she is somewhat like Jesus. I have nothing to prove that. Although I think she might have said she was like a martyr at some point, but that was during like a lot of TikToks. So, you know, it's its own thing. But I just thought that it's all go downhill from there and not be funny anymore. Sorry about that. So here we go. Gabby says, I'm grateful to have people here to remind me that there is a reality that people are feeling deep. Like with Jessie Smile's situation, for example. Of course, she's allowed to be hurt that I continued to hang out with friends, even though she maintained a close friendship with Alex James for many years. In her first video, she said that I told her his friends didn't forward him. I can imagine that convo, even though I don't remember it, because she was constantly trying to control every single aspect of my life in our short friendship. Short. Okay, so what an insensitive thing to say, right? I'm allowed to be hurt. Let's move on. I don't think we get to move on from you saying Curtis's friends didn't do that to you. I feel like that's actually a really bad thing, and you should feel sorry for saying that. Normal people, if they move on, they feel sorry about saying horrible, horrible things. That's a horrible thing to say to somebody who is supposed to be your friend. It's a horrible thing to say to anybody, actually. But what's ignored is the fact that many years later, despite the fact that we have years of conversations proving that we moved on from whatever we have between us, she histrionically came out with a video that I need to be stopped. So here's where we were in the Reddit ones. And with each response, she got more and more emotional and hysterical about it, adding more and more details, lying more and more to explain away the glaring evidence that she was obviously just building a drama channel career. Because, of course, Jessie Smiles had no reason to be angry at Gabby, no reason to want Gabby Hanna to stop DMing people about her or anything like that. Do we need to go over Jessie's old videos again? Because I did in my private time. And Gabby was kind of awful. And if I was Jessie, I'd be annoyed too. But no, she had no real reason to be annoyed. She just wanted to make a drama channel. What are we talking about, Gabby? And then it was, you can't respond because she's pregnant. You can't respond because she's just had a newborn. Blah, 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 blah. And Isabel said she just moved on years ago from that, and you can move on too, following the same logic you just commented. Isabel, right on cue. But yeah, it's easy to move on when you're the one who came through with years of slander, then built a successful career, LMAO. Like, yes, I'm sure Jessie was able to move on after she spent years ruining someone and building a drama channel. She just doesn't need to abuse me anymore. She moved on. You should too. It's like, imagine if I told Jessie our friendship ended years ago and move on, but instead of leaving it in 2014, she brought it into 2019. And it still impacts me in 2026. This is just like the same narrative over and over and over and over again. And I honestly think that even though Gabby's saying, this is all Jessie and I get to speak about it and blah, 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 she desperately, in my opinion, wants Jessie to respond. And it's probably eating her alive that Jessie isn't responding to this. Because back when everything happened in like 2019, 2020, actually now that I look at it, it was in 2021 when she said this, Jessie said, I will absolutely, under no circumstances, be addressing Gabby any longer. I don't care if she continues to post a very big number of videos about me. I don't care what people think I should do in response. I made this video with a very clear intention and made sure to say and show my truth for the parts of the situation that truly hurt and mattered to me. If I dedicated any more of my time to combating every lie Gabby has and continues to tell about our friendship, I'd never be free of this situation. The back and forth would never end. There are always more screenshots either one of us could show. There's always more context. It has to end somewhere. My only solution here is to do what most people are waiting for either Gabby or myself to do right now, and that's end this. This is a situation that hurts and triggers many people beyond just me. I refuse to prolong it any further. Gabby can have the last word. I'm going to enjoy my life and spend time with people I love, and very soon welcome my beautiful daughter into this world. Thank you to those who have taken the time to listen. So, this is in 2021, and Gabby hasn't stopped talking about it. Jessie has, and from everything that I can see, every time that Jessie responded, it was very responsive, right? It was responding to Gabby talking about this, or Gabby doing something, or Gabby bringing it up, right? And I think Gabby really, really wants people to be talking about this again. I think she wants people to be responding to this because she keeps bringing things up. She keeps naming people. She keeps doing post after post on TikTok about people, and it just seems like she wants them to respond. And I could be wrong because, again, I'm not in Gabby's brain. I don't know, right? But I can wager a guess. So anyway.
Okay.
Remember your dreams, your future, your education? Has private student loan debt destroyed those dreams? It doesn't have to. Y-Refi refinances distressed or defaulted private student loans that others won't touch. They can save you thousands of dollars, get you a custom payment that you can afford, and they don't care what your credit score is. Don't let private student loan debt ruin your life. Call Y-Refi today.
Gabrielle turned her passion into a thriving business with Hostinger. Now it's your turn to take your idea online. Create and launch your website in minutes with Hostinger AI and get everything you need to grow all in one place, from domains and hosting to emails and 24/7 support.
Hostinger's customer service is the best in the industry, and I can say that because I've worked with everyone in the industry.
Build the website, publish the portfolio, launch the store. Just go for it. Go to Hostinger to turn one day into day one.
Gabby doesn't like being told to let it go, as we can see. And she thinks, it's just because she wanted to have a drama channel. I wonder if Isabel feels like Jessie should have moved on from me telling her his friends didn't forward you and let me just live my life. I wonder if she carries that same energy for Trisha and Jessie while they harassed me and bullied and slandered me for years over something that was allegedly said in a private convo in 2014. I wonder if I just read that bit, sorry. And to be honest, I feel very proud of what has already been and is a successful career. It's not a successful drama podcast, no. I don't get as many views as I would if I was constantly talking about famous influencers and celebrities. Oh, Gabby, what was your podcast then? You came in with this new podcast, and the first episode was about Trisha Paytas. And not only was it about Trisha Paytas, you also started talking about Jessie and Ethan Klein. That is talking about influencers, is it not? Is it not? Explain to me how that's not. That. Explain to me. Also, on your TikTok, you're making these videos for Jojo Siwa, for Brooke Monk, for Tara's World, for Rebecca Black. Making all these TikToks talking about influencers and celebrities. You see how you're a hypocrite, right? Like, you see that. You get that. So frustrating. But I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing to just be entertained by the situation. There's parts of this where it's really hard to be entertained, and you'll see what I mean going forward. But, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I was able to retire at 31, living on residuals, royalties, and interest on my investments. Gabby always needs to tell us how well off she is and how great everything is for her. I was going back on like old stuff from 2019, and even back then she was like, I'm so happy. My life is so great. Meanwhile, she's like miserable. And she's telling us now how miserable she was. My goal here isn't to build a successful career for myself because I already did that. My goal is to continue doing what I was created to do. Use my gifts that God gave me to expand the kingdom. And what does making a podcast episode about Trisha Paytas have to do with expanding God's kingdom? Explain it to me like I'm 5, please. I don't care if 10,000 people listen to a gospel song or 10 million. Is that 10 billion? Numbers are hard, guys. I don't care if 5 people watch my podcast or 5 million, because there's a handful of people that are being touched in a meaningful way that brings them to God. You do not care about bringing people to God. You care about shitting on Trisha Paytas and Jessie Smiles. Why are we lying? Like, talking about Trisha Paytas and Jessie Smiles does nothing to bring people to God. And if you truly didn't care how many people, you wouldn't even name them. You would just talk about God and Jesus and religion. But no, you use religion as a shield, right? Because it makes you look better, it makes you feel more righteous, more justified in what you're doing, but it actually has nothing to do with what you're doing. Yeah, I'm like, there's a lot of Christians who they themselves are speaking up about you, saying you're making Christians look bad. Because this is the kind of behavior that makes Christians look bad. Because it's not Christian behavior, it's just not. Anyway. People are being touched in a meaningful way, blah, blah, blah. It took years of God humbling me and humbling myself to realize that I'm not here to perform for anyone but God. And that's why I do it on TikTok. And I make a podcast about Trisha Paytas. Obviously, the human in me would love it if something was commercially successful because it's an exciting and cool reward for your work. But that is not my purpose for doing it anymore, whereas it was my only reason for doing it before. It means the world to me when someone tells me my music helped them in their faith walk, because a lot of gospel music is not that sonically exciting. She can't help but shit on gospel music at the same time. And then Isabel says, then keep doing you. You're successful and talented. Why do you keep needing to revenge these women? Isabel here, asking the very reasonable questions, right? You will not gain anything by being this insensitive to the nature of violence. And I know people have been insensitive with you, and I'm sorry about that, really, but attacking a victim of SA to get better will not be fruitful, and it is questionably a godly action. And Gabby says, I'm not seeking revenge, a statement which I will call absolute cap on. A couple of weeks ago, in speaking up as a victim of Jessie and Trisha, it was easy to allow sin to enter and put me back in a place of wanting justice. But that's when I took a step back, repented, and returned to the internet talking about something else. You can't repent, but still be going on about these people constantly in this public chat, in this public forum, and also posting about them on your Patreon, and posting about people like Adam McIntyre on your Patreon, and just being hateful and nasty and vile, and also not apologizing for the podcast for wanting revenge, right? You just say things. Gabby just says things. I don't know why I try and logic them, because she just says things and there's actually nothing behind them. You're 100% right. There's nothing to gain in trying to seek revenge, which is what God, with an exclamation mark, told me first. What the Bible told me first. I'm not perfect, and I sin, and I was very triggered when it was time for me to speak out against my abuse. Because Jessie Smiles is my abuser. Period, point blank. Just like she was compelled to speak publicly about her abuse, I'm compelled to speak about mine. Why are we comparing them? 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 And mine happened in the public eye at her hands. Hers was leaked by a TMZ article at her hands. You see how I said it's going to get really hard to find the humor in this? This is kind of a little bit what I'm talking about here, because Gabby is saying, let's just bring it back up. Gabby is saying all of this is at Jesse's hands. This is all Jesse's fault. And by the way, Jesse leaked the TMZ article about what happened between her and Curtis. What are we doing here, Gabby? What are we doing? Are you trying to say that Jesse was just looking for attention? Because that's what it sounds like you're doing, without actually outright saying it. And obviously she has plausible deniability here, right? But for those of us with brains, it's kind of obvious what she's doing here. Anyway, she continues, nothing about this is anything I would have wanted to be a public spectacle, except for the fact that she keeps making it a public spectacle. But because my abuser moved her abuse from behind the scenes to front and center in the public eye to build a drama channel that is a rewrite of history if I have ever seen one, it makes perfect sense that I would want to talk about my story for the people in my phone contacts and my community that are being served videos about me because of Trisha and Jesse in 2026. Jesse didn't care that I confided in her about my own forward when she did this. I don't know why. To be very careful in what I'm saying here, because Gabby Hanna going through something horrible is horrible. Would never want that for her, right? Never in a million years. But it feels like she's bringing it up to try and make people feel the way they feel about Jessie Smiles towards her. Because the fact of the matter is, Gabby being a victim of SA, awful, does not excuse the things that she has done to Jessie Smiles over the years. Absolutely does not excuse that. And I think we need to be very careful there. She didn't care when people were questioning, why are you so close with Alex James, a known collaborator and close friend of Curtis, when the whole point of this is, I chose my friend's rapist. It's really hard to censor this stuff, guys. When I wasn't her friend, and I wasn't his friend, and I lived in PA when all of this happened. I wouldn't call my Patreon open chat public, but it's definitely not private anymore, so to be fair to you, either you're referring to the fact that I'm talking about this in this chat right now, which is my group chat with friends and fans, talk about my life experience in here. If people like you come in and start trying to stir some up, or you're referring to what I already repented of a couple of weeks ago, because obviously she repented and moved on, you should move on too. In which case, it seems like you're trying to gain credit for a choice that I already repented of on my own. Lol. I'm not trying to change the court of public opinion, just like Jessie wasn't trying to change the court of public opinion when the world didn't agree with her about her TMZ article. Why do we keep bringing that up, Gabby? Why do we keep bringing that up, Gabby? What kind of point are you trying to make here without actually outright saying it? What's the point here? Well, so her saying the open chat isn't public, but it is. And you say that your whole Patreon is public in the description of the Patreon. So what are we talking about here? Just like Jessie felt compelled to give permission to TMZ to run that story with her name, I felt compelled to share my story because victims need to be heard. Jessie used her... Sorry, I need to take pause before we get to this message, because this is the message that really infuriated me. And I'm trying to, just have fun here and just be like, this is all crazy, but actually, Gabby Hanna is just the vilest. No, she's not the most vile human being, right? There's definitely more vile human beings, but she's definitely vile. She's definitely vile. We'll say that. We're gonna read this one out without censoring, right? Because we need to actually hear what Gabby says here. So Gabby Hanna Kroner says, Jessie used her rape as a weapon to take others down. Not just me. And most rape victims, self-included, understand that this is one of the most deranged and evil things you can do. I need you to know as well that I took these screenshots today. So this is 6 days ago. I don't think this video is going up today. But it's only about a week ago that Gabby is saying this. This is one of the most disgusting things she said, actually. I truly believe that. And Gabby has said a lot of disgusting stuff in her time on the internet. But this is one of the worst, saying that Jessie used the awful, horrible, criminal thing that Curtis did to her and was convicted of, by the way, and admitted to, saying that she's using that as a weapon to take others down. Is a disgusting accusation with absolutely no merit. None. Gabby is just the worst. I'm trying to make this hyperbolic so I can find some humor in it, but it's really hard to find any humor here because there isn't any. And obviously, before somebody says in the comments, because somebody is going to, you're calling her the worst, and there's like actual murderers and people who do horrible. I'm being hyperbolic, okay? She's not the worst person on the planet, but she's definitely.
Do yourself a winning hand and stretch your way to some cash. Play blackjack. Win up to $2,100. Tropical vibes with Bingo Wins. Play Flamingo Bingo. Top prize
Oh, I had it up right
$50,000. Go from mud bugs to more bucks. Play Crawfish Cash, the new fast play game. Win up to $10,000. Louisiana Lottery, celebrating 35 years of reasons to smile. This is Buick now. Buick, exceptional by design. It's all about you during the Buick SUV sales event. Get 0.9% APR and up to $2,000 allowance on Encore GX. Are you a healthcare professional who sees patients with type 1 diabetes? Breakthrough T1D offers free, accredited on-demand education and live webinars about emerging therapies for type 1 diabetes treatment. By signing up for our free on-demand education or live webinars, you'll hear from experts in the field about early detection of type 1 diabetes. Learn more.
Chat, what's wrong with Dota? I'm trying to learn League of Legends, but I might try Dota. Just delete both of those from your computer. Save yourself some time. Oh, hello! Hello! Very nice to see you. Ooh. What's up, motherfuckers? How's it going? How's your Monday? Do you imagine yourself being single forever? No. You know, I haven't been putting forth the effort. Dog shirt. It's not a dog, actually. It's supposed to be a leopard. Just very stylized. It's from my friend's short film, The Voice in the Hollow. This is what the back looks like. Ain't that swag as fuck? I wish this was the front of the shirt. Kind of bad move on their behalf for making the part of the back. Ow, fucking wrist. I like fell down earlier this week and like landed on my hand and it crushed the inside of my wrist. Now it hurts. Making graphic tees with the graphic on the back. Yeah, like what's the fucking point of that? I want people to look at it and then look at me and then know that I'm cool. I don't want it to be like a fucking afterthought. Just wear the shirt backwards, but then it would be uncomfortable. Then it would look stupid. I wouldn't feel good doing that. It's not cool. Leave Wordmore was out of frame. Go do that again. But yeah, people get really fucking mad. There was like this big mad incel in my DMs about these streams. He got mad because I said that mirror selfies look retarded. He like got so mad about that. You've been planning on making new videos? Yeah, I'm working on one right now. They just take a while because I like to put a lot of effort into them. I don't like to just like factory produce them. I want them to be fun and cool. So that's why I don't upload very often. But yeah, this guy, he slid into my DMs. He got mad. Actually, he got mad back in August when I did a dating advice stream for the first time. He's been mad for like 8 months now. He's been pissed off for a while. And then he slid in again. And he called me like a bitch and stuff. And he told me I wasn't like, what did he say? I'll put these screenshots in general actually, because it was just so fucking retarded. I'll give you guys a little treat. But yeah, he was super fucking pissed off to the point where I told him he was being a retard. And I told him I sent all of these screenshots to the group chat, which I did. And then you know somebody's big fucking mad when they try to take the lowest low-hanging fruit they can because they're insecure. So he told me that I was the reason that my mom died. So I can't think of anything more pathetic than that, than somebody getting fucking triggered into oblivion because I told him that mirror selfies aren't a good strategy for dating apps, to the point where they bring my dead mom into the mix. And then we found this guy's YouTube channel too, and I checked his YouTube channel, and of course it's always like somebody who is very clearly mentally unwell, very schizo, to the point where like any woman can see this person from a mile away and get scared. So that was a fun little thing that happened this week, and it's interesting that they would bring up my mom into this, because like, you know, I can't change the fact that my mom's dead, right? That's permanent. But this person could very easily just stop taking mirror selfies. They could do any number of things to make them more appealing to women, and this is like advice that I don't have to give you guys. I could just be doing anything else with my time, because I think my audience deserves to succeed, because I like you guys and you guys are a lot of fun, and I want to help you, because, you know, dating's hard. I understand that. And then you have this guy who won't take those steps. He doesn't want to recognize that he is in fact his own problem, his own worst enemy. And he can do that stuff, and he just fucking won't. Like, I can't resurrect my mom because it's permanent. But you could choose to stop being such a disgusting, fat, gross incel at any time, and then you actively choose not to, and then you get mad at me like it's my fault. So yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah, I'll put the screenshots in general. You guys can have fun looking at those. They're very pathetic. Let's see, where to go. Here you go, general chat. Yeah, a lot of people just get very triggered, which is baffling, because I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to tell you like very easy things to allow you guys to stick out in a more positive way on a dating app, instead of somebody just seeing you immediately and then swiping left because you took a bad fucking photo of yourself. I mean, and people get mad. Yeah, he sounds like an awful person. Oh, he is, absolutely. Just very much like a fucking MOBA player, doesn't want to accept any personal responsibility, and anything that goes wrong in his own life is always somebody else's fault. So yeah, fun people. Some people, yeah. I can't stop being greasy every time. I'm supposed to be doing your topology and UV mapping, but I don't fucking want to. I feel you. I don't ever want to do that stuff ever again, so I don't think I will. So thankfully I don't have to do that stuff anymore, because this is my job now. Your hair looks more anime than usual. It does, doesn't it? I put more hairspray in it than normal. Sometimes I can't tell if like the hair extensions help or like make it look weirder. I don't have a hair extension or anything. I think it's like finally long enough to where I don't necessarily need them. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind about them. Yeah. She don't want you, bro. Oh yeah, it's definitely somebody who wants to fuck you. It's always that. It's always somebody who's frustrated that the woman online doesn't want them. It's like she's talking to me directly, but she doesn't actually want me. That hurts my feelings. I'm gonna get mad at her. I'm gonna put forth all of my incel rage because it's her fault that I'm like this. If it wasn't for women, I would have big sex right now. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. This music would work on Adult Swim. Yeah, it's good shit. It's my friend makes the lo-fi. If you go into the description of any of my videos, his SoundCloud is listed, and then you can just listen to all of these songs. Blaming someone else for why their life is going worse sounds like an ex-friend I broke up with 8 weeks ago. It's even funnier because I don't know this person in real life. He's just like some guy that didn't like that I had things to say, and he thought that I should be more careful as to not offend him specifically. And so we knew each other in real life. That's it's very schizo behavior. All right, let's see. I don't know where we left off on these. I really should like write these down. Write down which ones I've answered already. Oh well, we'll just have to sort through them. Let's see. This spreadsheet doesn't work great because it kind of cuts off the answers, so I can't see them very well. How do I make this not Oh, thank you, Mr. Creeper88 for the super chat. You're drunk? Don't do alcohol. It makes you look old. We'll put a tip. Alcohol isn't that good. And thank you, Joe Magic for the sub. And thank you, UMFO1 for the sub. Thank you guys. How do you make your hair do that? I have a tutorial on my channel. It's a YouTube short. If you just scroll through those, it should be there. You can have also anime hair. Let's see. Let's see where. I have so. Oh, there we go. That helps. We did that one. I can't form any attraction. Yet I can still become horny. Am I stupid? I think I answered that one too. You're not stupid, but just normal. Just being a dude. Did that one. Let's see. Oh, here's a fun one. I think. How come my boyfriend Donald Trump dumped me when I turned 14? We used to go on nice island holiday retreats where I got to meet all my favorite Hollywood celebrities. Well, unfortunately, you're all gross and used up after 14. Them's the breaks, kids. You've hit the wall. Maybe you try not dating a pedophile next time. I hope that helps. Next! I actually don't like it when people do things on dates. Thank you, Velvet Thunder, for the tip. Thank you for your dating advice and random noises. Heart your face. Thanks! Is that doing it for you? Did that one. Okay. What do we do? If you just go to work and go home most days, stop going home. Go outside. You're not gonna meet people in your fucking house. You already know the answer to that, man. Come on. Go outside. You gotta get a fucking hobby or something. You gotta go out and get some fresh air. And there's like no net negative to getting out of your house, even if you don't meet the one out there. You just get out of your fucking house. Easy. I've been dating this girl for 6 years. When will I know that I'm ready to marry her? 6 years? And you're not married? What the fuck is wrong with you? You fucking bitch! Put a ring on her right now or fucking let her go. God damn.
Louisiana's oil and gas industry creates thousands of good-paying jobs, but a flood of coastal lawsuits threatens it all. While billboard lawyers reach for massive payouts, Louisiana workers pay the price. The facts: energy employment down 40%. Offshore energy production cut in half.
Part 1. Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo is a manga spin-off written by Dei Akutami following his hit shonen series Jujutsu Kaisen. Modulo follows a political struggle between Sumerian aliens looking to occupy Earth as a new home, specifically Japan. Modulo serves as an almost continuation of the events after the Culling Games. This series was made with the intent of being a short story serialized across 6 months. After the many struggles of producing the original series, Akutami wanted a less burden on creation and assisted Yuji Awasaka as his illustrator. Modulo has been part of popular Twitter discussions since its release, with multiple comparisons. Its divisive, happily coined Disney Kaisen ending is just a foregone conclusion of Akutami's writing. In the original series, Akutami never stopped at bad writing, but in his spin-off, it feels like he has accepted himself for who he is. He was always a bum. He was never solid. He was never that guy. And that's okay. Modulo is not a good story, and we're going to explore exactly why it's not with a variety of topics. But first, I need to cover a couple things. If you like Modulo and Akutami's writing style, there is absolutely nothing with that. Nothing wrong with that. And I celebrate you. Just like my Wano video, this is my general opinion resulting from how I believe the quality of the writing is. The tone of this video will be pretty rude toward Akutami, but I have a lot of respect for him as a writer because we all know none of us can actually write JJK. The last note is that Modulo does not affect JJK's quality either. This is for a good amount of reasons, but simply put, I don't think Modulo is as canon as we think. Alright, what do I mean? I tried my best to research for this video, and my conclusion is evident. The canonicity of Modulo will be beyond challenge because of Akutami's note and intentions. To me, it seems like Akutami wanted an alternative story rather than a direct continuation to many main events. No matter what direction I imagine, Akutami seems to be avoiding adding to the main story and trying to create some extra Jujutsu content. Because Modulo isn't exactly canon to me, I can give Akutami some grace with a variety of plot points. Think of Attack on Titan and then Attack on Titan Schoolcast. More of like a parallel story that isn't exactly a one-to-one or a direct continuation. I can also give Akutami a lot of credit for having a compelling concept of an alien invasion. I have to also add, fuck all the political commentary with refugees or xenophobia or whatever. A story touching certain aspects does not make the story magically good. Critiquing sex trafficking and organized crime does not make the quality of your writing better. Despite a compelling concept and the assurance of nothing fucking up his already messed up ending, he still messed up. One of this current Modulo ending's fatal flaws is within the characters. A final note is in Akutami's work in Shonen Jump. Akutami took this project of Modulo to where he was just the writer. He didn't draw anything, so this heavy burden was essentially cut in half. He also knew it was going to be a short story. From the weekly serialization of the hottest manga in the world to the 6-month backseat position of simply writing the beats of the story, Gege literally nerfed himself and set a deadline and tried his damnedest to produce a good story. And he couldn't score. He choked. But for a moment, he had us. Part 2. Mr. Akutami's ability to draft a compelling character or dynamic is pretty much his bread and butter. He was able to craft an antagonist so cool that despite losing every fight that he's in, he is still one of the most popular Johns in the story. Character dynamics, character moments, and character development. Akutami's primary talent is a weird coalition of these things. This trait was potent for a majority of Modulo. Yuka and Tsurugi were a crazy compelling dynamic. The brother-sister John is one that works just with cruise control because most of us have siblings. The stoic, eager to improve brother with the hot-blooded, empathetic sister works so well. Akutami hasn't really touched this before, which makes it more refreshing because in the original series, it's underdeveloped, to say the least. I think Akutami really hit something on the nail with their dynamic. However, that layer of interesting writing was a thin veil not hiding a beautiful Rita Bennett, it was hiding a monkey in a dress. Akutami squeezes so much out of their brother-sister dynamic, by the time he had to wrap up the story, he forgot what their dynamic was based on. The ring from Yuta drove this dynamic and their bond and rivalry. This damn ring is just one big contrivance though. So firstly, right, the ring is given to Yuka off of Yuta's orders. It was primarily based off their special relationship and had a lot of sentimental value to Yuka. Tsurugi's inclusion, however, is weird. The Gojo clan stepped in to take the ring from Yuka and placed it onto Tsurugi. Why though? It is implied because he is weaker than Yuka. I would suppose that would all be contextual with Yuka apparently having the 10 shadows. However, Tsurugi has a heavenly restriction. Are these folks just forgetting that the Demon of the Mist also had a heavenly restriction? Are they forgetting that just with 1% of her true strength, Maki slaughtered the entire Zenin clan in an afternoon? What political plan was it for the Gojo clan to force the ring onto Tsurugi? Assuming they knew what it did, why give a nano boost to a child who doesn't need it to begin with? Even worse, their mother looks like a complete bitch for complying to these political arrangements. Yes, my daughter, I'm going to take away the heirloom your beloved grandfather gave you. Yes, my son, I'm going to force you to wear this ring, make you incredibly upset, and force you into a rivalry with your sister. What's even the purpose of that? This ring job, while paid off as a plot tool, never reaches a satisfying character conclusion for the characters involved. A super dense, serialized short story, kind of just letting this beat get swept under the rug is pretty distasteful, I can't lie. We get this cool visual shot that feels like our characters' entire motivations to grow into their own people, with the ring binding them, just for it to not meet a satisfying arc. I want to mention I like Yuka and Tsurugi. They have a strong dynamic and good characterization. I like their personalities, but the mode behind their characters isn't enough. There is no real arc, no real development. These are good individual moments that may allude to a core character, but there's no message these guys internalize from their conflict or even their own personal arc. I'm confused on what Akutami was going for writing-wise. Character conclusions are usually his strong suit, so I think he just had no clue what to write for these guys. Essentially, the two main characters of his manga are just characters that happen to be the grandson and granddaughter of two much better characters in the original story. These characters were the main characters due to nepotism. Funny enough, a story like Boruto goes out of its way to talk about this inherent nepotism and, dare I say, deconstruct it. There is no attempt at this in Modulo. We just have to accept these are the characters because Akutami wrote it that way. But because he wrote it that way, he also had no plan for any arc of development. That is insanely weird to me, because how do you not develop your own characters? There really is no arc or great change for them. These two essentially just have the development of Mako and Bolin, but I guess that was intentional, maybe? Cross and Maru are much better characters than Yuka and Tsurugi. I think their backstory is just fine enough. It's obviously the thematic setup for what Modulo is supposed to be, but that works enough. Their backstory sets out future developments that Modulo was supposed to explore and cover. Dabura's sister, Dabura's real potential, the idea of neighbors, conflict, and the cost of war. These things were supposed to be tackled in the later chapters, but voila. With Maru and Cross, it feels like two sides of the same coin. This was likely intentional, and it works, to be honest. Maru's completely idealistic nature to coexist with humans and to find these neighbors, versus Cross's pragmatic and realistic nature that Earthlings could pose a big problem for the Sumerians. That opposing push and pull really guides the entire narrative for the first volume and a half. These guys don't really have an arc either, especially Cross, but at least they have an optimistic narrative role. The entire point behind Maru's existence is that he hopes onto the future and tries again to coexist with others. He tries to see the good in others and mediate all differences. This is why he shares the curse technique Chaos and Harmony. Unlike Yuka and Tsurugi, who only got their powers because of narrative nepotism, Maru's powers symbolically demonstrate his character motivation. It's to manipulate space and different laws, to bring people together and become neighbors. It is likely the best piece of quote-unquote character writing Akutami has done for the series. Despite that, there are an infinitesimal amount of problems we'll get into with Maru. Dabura and Cross aren't real characters, by the way. Cross is just gas for Maru, who's much better, more developed, and better looking. Dabura, however, is a pretty fake character. He seems like he takes the burden all by himself, and he looks so bothered and hurt by everything, but is forced to put on a stoic mask. Realistically, though, he doesn't really have a character. It is established that he is fighting because his sister was captured by the Deskanite chief or whatever. Then he uses a black rope to free her from the curse. There was more set up during the Mahoraga fight, but we'll come back to that in time. Dabura is probably the fakest character ever. I feel like there are allusions and references to something larger for him, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Him being friends with Dora, him calling himself just a Descronite warrior, him killing the chief, then he just jacked off. That doesn't feel like a character at all. What did he learn? What did he go through? It feels like Akutami just wrote a person who can give us awe and hype moments and forgot to write the character, just fucked off. Modulo is not a story about the old cast of characters. The same way The Legend of Korra isn't about the tale of Aang and his exploits. It is cool to see the descendants and the legends of the old era be mentioned, but be serious. The same way people thought The Legend of Korra was pandering to his prequel by forcing old characters into new conflicts, it's exactly what's happening here. In Chapter 10, it becomes apparent that Yuji would be relevant during this conflict. They hyped him up in Chapter 1, and now comes to mention how he is their ultimate expression of power. I understand that. I can even buy that. Everything else with Yuji's involvement is so forced, I can literally see the marionette strings. The first mention of Yuji is when some small fry somehow escaped from the nigga who could do this, to then remember his utterly crushing defeat. He is then mentioned to go AWOL after the Angel's funeral. Yuji then stops the Jutsu government and the aliens from beefing. Then he says he'll clean up any mess that they cannot. He then looks into the sky and asks if this is the right choice. Yuji then helps Maru with his human instrumentality plan of changing the color of people's souls and changing the way cursed energy is manifested. Ultimately, it was Maru's choice, but Yuji was imperative for the plan. After all is said and done, Yuji asks Nobara for help in keeping a lid on the current things cursed energy and cursed spirit related. He then says he'll turn himself into a cursed object in case they really need help in the future. The $1 million question for all of this is why? Why is Yuji here? When you look at the final 3 chapters, Yuji just problem solving and setting things in motion to have insurance against any future endeavors. If the end goal was just, I'll help you guys and fix all the problems, why didn't he just help them and fix all the problems to begin with? Yuji didn't know Maru was going to go through with his plan. He is not Joseph Joestar. I understand that sentiment that the new generation can't grow if they have Yuji as a helicopter parent. However, that does not work here and is antithetical to how it's actually done in the original series. The main cast were forced to grow because Akutami went to the deliberate effort of keeping Gojo outside the conflict. In Modulo's case, Yuji is forced into every conflict, runs around saying it doesn't matter, then saves the day and works to save the day again in the future. What the fuck type of structure and arc is that? You just have a character who is more than capable of solving every conflict in the series, but is tsundere enough to just say, no, it's not like I want to give everyone a get a jail free card or anything. It's just so lame. Even lamer is how Yuji is the only OG cast member who seemingly matters. Nobara, Todo, Hikari, where the fuck are these guys at? Nobara has 2 different scenes but don't do anything to her character. Todo is mentioned to be alive and involved in the conflict, and Hikari is either alive and rich or dead with the legacy. Either way, these guys are given the cold shoulder. Megumi is also not mentioned once, except for a one-off comment in the final chapter. Megumi's quote-unquote arc in the main story did not finish. His story finished, but his character did not get any real resolution. How nice of it of Akutami to just ignore him and cut him off in his spin-off series. It's not like I'm hell-bent on seeing previous characters. If you're going to force Yuji to the story at all points, but ignore his friends and everyone not named Yuji, what the hell is even the point of mentioning these characters? The only character to be treated 1% better from the original series is Maki. Her 1-second monologue adds so much to her character and the established material. Maki is the only character that isn't subtracted by addition in Modulo. Another note to add before closing off this character section is again Yuji Itadori. In his epilogue, he meets with his buddy from high school and they have a very soft and romantic conversation. It's only ever implied that Yuta and Maki liked each other. It was very one-sided until the final chapters with Hana and Megumi. For Yuji, this woman likes him for who he is and they have an actual relationship with previously established development. One could naturally expect that if hinted at relationships and one-sided romances can get airtime, of course Yuji and his high school buddy would go somewhere. But that's just not the case. Yuji doesn't mention her, she's not there with him, they don't have any chemistry or relationship or history of ever even talking to one another. To me, this adds to my idea that Yuji is only in Modulo for aura and hype moments. His relationship with Mahito is entirely superficial and contrived. There is no back and forth conversation. It is just Yuji stunting on him and forcing him to do their human instrumentality. Yuji is saving everyone at the blink of an eye, so much stronger than everyone that he's their failsafe. Doesn't actually fulfill any of the dynamics set up in the main series, yet he has so much focus while his friends and crew get sidelined and ignored. If you guys think this was a good inclusion, then maybe you should hop on My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute. Part 3. Jujutsu Kaisen never excelled at his plot, but it was semi-negligible. We were there for the characters and the fights. The plot not being the strongest doesn't really matter. The maid and the hidden inventory being captured and then rescued off screen doesn't really matter because we get Toji greatness. I want you to realize I can give a lot of grace toward the plot because strenuous and tepid doesn't really matter that much. Despite that, I want you guys to realize that if the plot breaks because of so much dumb shit that happens, then you just have a bad plot. With Modulo, the plot is absolutely horrendous. The plot around a political struggle between two groups of people trying to coexist is made into absolute ass cheeks. You have to suspend your disbelief for a lot of things. You have to suspend your disbelief that only Earth can be habitable. In our ever-expanding universe with anomalies in this apparently humans can only occupy Earth. That is the first thing you have to suspend. You then have to suspend your disbelief that one of the main characters has such an overpowered fuck you, I do whatever I want ability. There is so much weird shit that happens in the story. It is really hard to sit down and think about if Akutami thought of any of it. Maybe he didn't, and that's why this story wasn't meant to be directly canon. Yuji and Maru are able to travel into the Cursed Realm or the Passage of Souls or whatever the fuck this shit is. Where was this in JJK? Why did this never get expanded upon? Does Kenjaku know about this? Why is Mahito specifically able to interact like this when he is dead, number one, and his technique literally got extracted, number two? Why does Yuji look like Gyro? Is Akutami really a Togashi dick fighter? Is Akutami really a Togashi dick fighter? For a battle manga with an intricate power system, we don't actually get too many fights in this spinoff. I think we get one real fight with some random nigga, a fight with Maru and Tsurugi, and that's it. We get aura and hype moments, but we don't get any real fights. Obviously, this would be disappointing for anyone. The core problem is that there is no fight anticipated or developed through any plotline. There's almost zero reason to expect any fight to happen outside of our genre-savvy knowledge that this is a battle shonen. Nonetheless, it still means there is no reason narratively to expect any fight to take place, and that's just deflating. If Akutami didn't want to write any fights and just wanted to demonstrate more political jauns, then that's fine. However, that is just not the case. He built up Dabura's strength in the first volume. He set up Yuji and his power. He also told us that our main character has a heavenly restriction. Akutami wrote multiple things that excite the reader to learn more, obviously in a combat setting, all for him not to follow through. What was the point of that? Overnight moments, I guess. I think there is an honest flaw within the writing of the story's conflict. I've seen others notice it, and it becomes weirder because it's pretty tricky to get into. This story seems to inorganically develop as conflict. When you think of another story developing as conflict, you think of people having different political advantages and running shit over. How do you develop the conflict between the Akatsuki and Naruto? You kill off Jiraiya. That type of thing. Akutami obviously wanted a similar route, but unfortunately expedited the shit out of that. To boot the conflict, Colleens that Maru's race happened to love and fight for are seemingly murdered. This is a fake out though. It is actually cursed spirits who are murdered, but they share the same soul essence. So Maru's people think that they're actually killing Colleens. Akutami has one chapter where they off-screen several diplomatic statements that Dabura and Yuka go and fight. Do you see what I mean? If it wasn't for Colleens arbitrarily having the same print as cursed spirits, we will never get to the quote-unquote climax of this conflict. Even then, the conflict before this still isn't good. Cross gets shot off screen with no context to boot. It was said he was reaching for something, but we don't see it. Again, just a very bad decision. Cross gets shot, Usami gets blitzed, and Yakamura begs Dabura to take his life for shooting Cross. While this happens, Cross is arguing for all the aliens to stay back and to be made aware that Colleens are not being killed. The main guy notices that the Colleen is turning to smoke, but that is literally forgotten. They then make a super reasonable request that demons sent from hell should not be exterminated. The only reason why Yuka has to fight Dabura is because aliens think that Colleens are cursed spirits and don't have the theory of mind to comprehend that cursed spirits are titans who don't care who you are, which ends up getting worse, by the way. Go.
Rule 7. In friendship and jewelry, quality counts.
Let's now take a look at Difference Makers presented by Sargento Natural American Seeds. Pretty self-explanatory. Give me a...
The only way the conflict was able to wrap up was because of an arbitrary contrivance that feels cheap and is truthfully inorganic. Now, the writing rule of using convenience to get characters into something does exist. I am open to just saying, sure, this is one of those times, but the rule does not apply when you use convenience to get characters in and out of the same conflict. The entire Mahoraga and Dabura kerfuffle ends in bullshit. Chapter 9 sets up Dabura's strength in the idea of a duel to resolve any conflict. Dabura as a character pretty much only existed as a tool, as a weapon we can come to expect to be unleashed at any time. When that weapon is finally unleashed, the writer has to fulfill the reader's expectations. Akutami did. He showed off Dabora's prowess as a warrior incredibly well. He did in a very refreshing way too. Maharaga adapting to the curse technique and almost adapting to his existence is such a cool thing to do. It allows for Dabora to grow as a fighter and do things folks have never done before. From chapter 9 on, with the use of Maharaga and ability the audience is aware of, and the ever-transient growth of Dabora, all of this is made pointless. All of it is fake tension for the sake of an airball. It never mattered at all. It never mattered for two direct reasons. Reason one, all of this was going to be solved with plot magic in 10 minutes. Maru found Yuji, got the play-by-play with Souls, used Mahito in some strange, contrived nonsense to give everyone exactly what they need to end the conflict. Specifically for Dabora, he just teleported him to Africa, grabbed the black rope or whatever, then put him in front of Alien Drew just to kill him. The second reason is that this entire thing only happened because of the alien Drew. It is implied this guy started a war over resources but then covered it up as a religious war so he can monopolize his enemies. Never is this guy once portrayed in any other light that isn't villainous and cowardice. He is a generic Mr. McBad guy that just wants money and power essentially. Dora would have never died if he wasn't interested in resources. Dabora would not have to fight Maharaga or even participate in the politics if Alien Drew didn't take his sister hostage. Majority of what we see and are forced to deal with in terms of conflict just comes from Alien Drew being a piece of shit that manipulates people. Despite all that, he is not a character and only exists as a one-dimensional villain. It is hard to get invested into a conflict when it is so loosely set up and never really mattered to begin with. I believe this just comes with the fact that Akutami isn't good at writing conflict resolution. Akutami turned Mahito into a plot device and didn't give Yuji, specifically the audience, the satisfaction of the kill. He had Kenjaku be bush-camped by Yuta, then he had Sukuna, the main antagonist, be defeated by some backwater plan that nobody actually expected would work. Again, it only makes sense that Modulo would have this type of ending. Before we close off this section, let me remind you guys of different missing things inside the plot or this weird plot shit from Akutami. The most notable is Iori Okotsu. He was introduced with his air of mystery and what actually happened and what did he do. His motivations seemed pretty simple. He was frustrated with his generation of sorcerers. There had been multiple theories about him, but none of them came true because he ended up going nowhere. Why even introduce the character if he was going to talk with Yuji, disappear one day, and not be relevant at all toward anything? I guess we're trading depth for width. The black rope, again, is another plot tool that people thought was going to be relevant in the climax. We thought we would have something of a negotiation or a plot line around it being necessary to solve the conflict, but nope. The black rope was literally gifted to another character after another character got the power of Jesus to do whatever he wants. I also gotta ask, what was the point in Tsurugi having a heavenly restriction? Outside of the parallel to Maki and shit, there seems to be no real purpose and just artificial design flavor. Everyone else with the heavenly restriction has had huge character focus and a character arc or two. Tsurugi breaks that mold without contributing to it at all. W character, man. W character. Part 4. I am well aware that many people brush aside plot shit and different failures of a narrative to prop up themes. I do this myself, and I know other people do it for their favorite series as well. The excuse of themes does not have a 100% success rate. When you look at characters like Hody Jones or Unalaq, while they are thematically fitting, nobody likes them. There are more stories than just themes. Yes, I'm aware that themes and messages are what give stories a leg to stand on in terms of longevity and depth. When you look at it extra critically, themes are just one element out of 5 story elements. The best stories put all these 5 things together to make magic happen. I'm also aware that what Akutami was trying to say in the final say of Modulo as a whole, people existing and needing to come together is a very politically and socially relevant thing. I admire even how it builds up on the original series' themes of loneliness and isolation. It is very in line for Akutami to craft a compelling theme or an idea for his story. He has a lot of things, and being creative is definitely one of them. For themes to actually work, though, you need a compelling topic or subject matter to accompany it. Imagine you had a story where the entire point of it was just themes. The plot didn't matter, the setting was arbitrary, and the characters only existed to rattle off themes. Malnourished people, I'm sure they'll be fine with that. But no, it's not a real story. It should not be praised as such. If you do not have multiple story elements coming together to deliver strong themes, then you have a bad movie. Story. Even worse, when you have an array of different things that contradict each other or do not organically flow into the story, you just don't have a theme, period. There are multiple preliminary writing techniques that writers use to make their theme or message work. Some of the most widely praised stories will straight up tell you its themes, but the development, progression, and fleshing out of most concepts is what makes the themes hit hard. In the special case of Modulo, we do not have anything that makes themes good. If Modulo is always going to end happily and optimistically, that is fine. The problem with that story is for themes to work, you need to introduce trauma. Trauma? It's through conflict. However, we already discussed how conflict here is simply just not good. I cannot imagine a real set of themes developing with conflict. If conflict is how you get good themes, then a bad conflict will warrant bad themes. If themes were going to consist of coming together and the individual making up the collective, you should have crafted a situation to show that. Instead, Yuji, I'm the strongest ever now, Itadori just gives Maru a Philosopher's Stone to do whatever he wants to. The use of the Soul Book, mixed with Maru's broken technique to distort and manipulate the laws of nature, and Mahito's overpowered technique of transfiguring people's souls, her spirits will no longer be confused with Kalians. This directly proves that the conflict only persisted because of this incredibly convenient thing that has happened to happen. This also made it to the point where Kalians might try to attack their own people. I also just don't know what the fuck the point of this was, because it's just one step forward with one step back. The overall point is that yes, the story is about these grand and luscious concepts, but they're tampered with and undermined because the lack of consequences, lack of development, and lack of narrative stakes to push the ideas to the forefront. AKA, themes don't get to wrap this story up, nor are they themselves good. The conflict isn't good to flesh out the themes, the characters aren't well written enough to actually flesh out the themes are beaten over your head, and the themes only happen because of arbitrary magic. Part 5. It is hard for me to describe this type of story. The type of story that only cares about offering hints of something larger and hints of character development. This is the type of story that will undermine itself every chance it gets, as long as they can reach its one page discussing its themes. I want to use this section to go over the different beats of the ending and why people respond to it the way they do. I think I pretty much went over chapters 24 and 25 as I talked about why they aren't good. I tried to keep this video above water. I didn't even talk about how Akutami gave his MC cancer just to take it away 15 chapters. Hey Akutami, you know you could have just not given her cancer, right? You know that's like an option. It was not literally cancer, but you could have just not given her brain AIDS. If the end result was going to be nothing happening, then you just didn't need to write it in the first place. Whatever though. The literal ending of the series has this weird panel where Dabura, Snow Bunny, and Yuka are looking toward the screen like they're aware of the fact they're in a manga somehow. I don't know if this is the meta thing with Akutami trying to say that his story matters, even though he said it doesn't matter the entire time. The final page feels like it's trolling in a way. I understand that Dabura was keeping his promise to Dora to keep the guy safe until they found a home, but this all feels so deflating. It just feels like random events attempting to congress into one larger story, but lacking the proper framework to make it all feel justified or warranted. It just makes me feel disappointed in a weird, melancholic way. The guys were all smiling and hopeful for the future, but we have to remember it is Yuji who's going to step in during any problem they have to handle it. This all comes back to Yuji being a weird inclusion for this story. He honestly feels like a Mary Sue. He gets all the aura, solves all the problems, is so cool and could fuck anybody's bitch, and then he just walks off into the sunset. Obviously, Yuji's not a Mary Sue, but it's so unlike him to just walk up in a place and solve the issue. Yuji literally says he will turn himself into a cursed object in case they need any extra help. Like, what? What?
Try Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 lunchboxes today.
Hello. Sitcoms are back. How's that? Funny, complicated, single. Don't tell my husband. No, she's okay. She's right.
Some things are out of reach. The card with access to exceptional benefits isn't one of them. Excuse.
Recall Next Throat Care. Center with powerful menthol for a fastest throat relief.
What themes or methods or even conflicts when you have the nuclear device right there in communication. The new cast didn't grow or develop in any meaningful way. The old cast were all sidelined except for Jesus Itadori. The fights went nowhere. The world building is just as dry as the old series, and the conflict was developed inorganically just for it to be wished away with the power of assholes and contrivances. Before we close out the video, I want to talk about this screenshot right here. It is very annoying. Guy says Modulo was indeed necessary, and saying otherwise is ignorant and idiotic. I assume they're saying the sequel is necessary to cover these topics. Not only could we debate the merit of these topics actually being covered, this just concedes that Akutami failed to address or resolve any of these topics in the main story. This is bad because why would any writer wait until after the drama and anticipation has died down to start paying things off? That is just the opposite of writing stories. Let's tackle things one by one. It did not resolve any Curse Energy ideological conflict. Just because it aligned with what was discussed does not mean it was tackled in any way. Kenjaku and Yuki spent their entire lives trying to figure out what's up with Curse Energy. Kenjaku and Yuki's motivations are entirely built upon what the hell Curse Energy is and how it must be something new. Kenjaku literally boned different creatures just to peek into what humanity could evolve into. Yuki is a star plasma vessel, a victim of Curse Energy. You cannot compare these two characters so intimately involved with Curse Energy to Maru's Kumbaya plan. Those aren't the same things. The development of the ideology and conflict of the main story did not continue on. It just had results, which is not the same thing. Showing what the future generation achieves. This is actually the opposite of true. Megumi Nobara, Yuta, Maki, Akari, their exploits aren't plot relevant at all. We aren't shown anything concerning those dudes. Second, the burden of the strongest still falls on one person, Yuji. Gojo said, how did they have enough of Gojo Satoru? Yuji is virtually immortal and will still clean up any of their messes, revealing the consequences of Yuji's determination. Word salad. Yuta and Maki having children can just be revealing the consequences of their love. Akari having a legacy could just be revealing the consequences of the fever. It is literally just words strung together. Rika ring conclusion. This was something set up in Modulo and is the most irrelevant thing ever inside the actual story of JJK. Even then, there's no actual character payoff for being invested in the ring. Maki grief over Mai addressed and serving as a major plotline in Saruki's development. First off, addressing another person's state of mind is nothing special. Second, it wasn't this huge thing in the original story to begin with. While it does add to Maki's character, it was more of a cherry on top of a store-bought pie. Third, there was no plot line. You just don't know what that word means. There was one mention during one fight that lasted 2 chapters. Yuta dying as he lived. Sure, we still don't get to see Megumi resolved. I personally have no idea what they're talking about, so I'm just going to put that on me. I don't know how the berries were a topic of discussion, and they were always just arbitrary gimmicks in the original story anyway. Yuki's life work aiding fulfilling her dream. Again, a nice cherry on top, but still not anything quality as it is not relevant, nor building off of things previously established inside the main story. Maru is not a character deeply concerned with the politics or transient nature or autonomous agency of Curse Energy. Stop acting like his decision magically pays off this character who did similar things for different reasons. Revealing the state of Tokyo in Japan post-Culling Games. Sure. The sequel that takes place after the Culling Games revealed what happened after the Culling Games. Like, do you see what I mean? Gege Glazers would bend over backwards trying to justify and admonish anything this nigga writes. Gege doing any wrong is just a trick or an illusion. Gege has to be thinking of something else and has to be a reverse rug pull. This is the reason why I call him Akutami instead of Gege. When you hear Gege, your brain either gets activated and you want to rip something apart, or you hear it and immediately get into a defensive position like Iron Fist. Too many people think this writer is something special. If he is special to you, that's fine. However, we need to talk about the writing here. Everything in Modulo is arbitrary. There is no rhyme or reason or logic to it. Any credits where there could be logic is thrown away and forgotten. There are multiple that either go out the window or that should never been written. The point of Modulo is nonsensical. Just telling themes regardless of execution. With the knowledge you're going to sell at the end, and an ever-expanding refusal to develop any lore and conflict. Gege Akutami tricked y'all, man. He'll just run around doing nothing.
Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, you want to know if the man you're seeing is wasting your time. Going by your cards, the presence of the Justice card in the primary position and reversed does show that right now, between the two of you, the energies are not aligned. It does seem like you're putting more into it than he is right now. So I'd already say that this is a negative indicator for where the relationship is going. King of Cups does show that both of you are attracted to each other. It just seems that he has other interests going on. It seems that he's kind of lingering and talking to some other people. Nine of Swords in the final position does show that, all things considered, this interaction with him does seem to be weighing on you a lot and taking up a lot of your energy and thoughts. So overall, looking at all the cards, it would seem that you're losing a lot more from this than gaining when it comes to him. So I do think that you are essentially wasting your time. There is a bit of an opportunity for things to improve, but it would take an actual effort on his part. Now, if you want details about where the future will go with the two of you throughout the rest of this year, as well as your compatibility, you can give me a call or send me a message. Do 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 do. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Compelling dynamic. The brother and sister John is one that works just with cruise control because most of us have siblings. The stoic, eager to improve brother with the hot-blooded, empathetic sister works so well. Akutami hasn't really touched this before, which makes it more refreshing because in the original series, it's underdeveloped, to say the least. I think Akutami really hit something.
All right, we have to work with marketing, IT, and ops.
Working across teams is tough. Asana can handle it. AI can spot roadblocks, so everything stays on track. That's how work gets handled. That's Asana.
Don't compromise on your sunscreen. Get this. Invisible protection you can trust at half of the price. Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Macy's can lease a rugged new 2026 Tundra SR5 for $549 a month for 36 months. Toyota, let's go places.
Again, a nice cherry on top, but still not anything quality as it is not relevant to it. Any credits where there could be logic is thrown away and forgotten. There are multiple plots and plot threads that either go out the window or that should never been written. The point of Modulo is nonsensical, just telling themes regardless of execution, just hyping up characters and events with the knowledge you're going to sell at the end, and an ever-expanding refusal to develop any lore and conflict. Gege Akutami tricked y'all, man. He'll just run around doing nothing.
Premium ingredients you can see, and your dog can sense. Instinct.
Meet Miss Payment. She's a credit wrecker. She doesn't know that missing a monthly payment can stay on her credit report for up to 7 years. Don't be like Miss Payment. Learn how to avoid the wreckers at creditwreckers.com. Credit one time for what's ahead.
Jujutsu Kaisen is a bad manga, and in other news, a fish found in water. This manga has always been divisive, but its ending truly measured the distance of how ass this really was. I've always been an outspoken critic of JJK, and it's not because I dislike popular things. It's because JJK is an uninspired, derivative, lazy manga that fails at almost every approach. If this wasn't a battle manga with very competent fight scenes, then this would have been axed. I think JJK is a failure in terms of world building, conflict resolution, thematic expression, and obviously character writing. I've never really experienced a story like JJK. Throughout my tenure in high school, it was always a topic of discussion, but I can't say I liked the story too much. There has been too many times where I dropped this series and I didn't want anything to do with it. Enough of this swing set backstory. Today we're going to look at what I perceive to be the worst event Akutami has ever written. I don't want this to be a Daigo Night type of video, but it's pretty important to realize this event is completely ass. Let's break it down. After regaining his reverse curse technique, Sukuna realizes he can just stall out Yuji until his actual TT comes back. Yuji, understanding that he has to finish the fight right now, he uses his domain expansion. Yuji attempts to talk no Jutsu Sukuna and show him the value of human life and connection. Sukuna isn't moved at all, but it's not like he doesn't understand the words and intent. Yuji then patronizes Sukuna's demeanor, in which Sukuna is outraged that someone could pity him. The domain activates and Sukuna uses Hollow Wicker Basket. Trading blows with Yuji, Sukuna realizes he has to activate his domain and end the fight. Sukuna uses Gojo's method of replenishing his CT. When he uses his dismantle on Yuji's fist, he tears apart his gloves and looks at his missing fingers. As we see Sukuna's fingers put on display in some mysterious chamber, we then get the reason why Yuji wore gloves and why the finger is on display. Nobara using her curse technique on Sukuna's finger is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I understand people value this on some thematic level, which is fine, I guess, but there is more writing reasons why this doesn't work. We're going to discuss the lack of quality this has from a writing perspective, then we'll discuss the mountain leaps in logic that Akutami cannot bridge together. Nobara playing one of the most impactful roles in Sukuna's defeat will always be contentious for one simple reason: lack of development. The status of Nobara was always a hanging plot thread that was getting more and more shoved to the side as the story was heading into the climax. After Shibuya, when Yuji asked about Nobara, it was purposely left ambiguous. It is difficult to conclude anything from this panel. I don't know how people could fit this into their agenda. During the Culling Games, Yuji says to Megumi that he doesn't want Angel to replace Kugasaki. With full story context, this seems like the writer just talking directly to the audience. Besides that, when Yuji is accounting for the value a human life brings, he thinks of those who have passed, and Nobara is right there next to him. Naturally, this is just Yuji thinking of her death, but it's the writer putting a deliberate effort into making the audience think she was dead. This would be a fair way to do it as well. There was no mention of her status, there was no person checking up on her, there was...
Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, it seems that you mainly want to get a read on the situation you're having with this man, and you want to know if his intentions are honest towards you. So going over your cards, with Eight of Pentacles being in the primary position, it's simply establishing how it is right now between the two of you, where both of you are trying to make things work with each other. and you are slowly developing something of a closer bond. But as you're saying, it's definitely not at a place where you're comfortable with entirely just yet. Page of Pentacles in the middle position does show that you feeling that there's something he's hiding isn't actually just paranoia or anything. It does seem that there is something catching his eye. It seems to be another person, but it also seems to be tied up in to something related to finances or work. The final position being filled with Page of Swords also backs this up by showing that there is something that he wants to go ahead and tell you, but he's trying to hold off. It doesn't seem like this is the right moment for him to just yet. So overall, I don't think you have to worry about being fooled by him, but there is some sort of major talk that is in the works between the two of you. I would expect for him to tell you something within the next week. Now, if you want further information about what the future holds between the two of you, as well as your compatibility, you can give me a call or send me a message.
This is one of the most contrived things ever. I really don't think someone could create something more contrived on accident. Meaning, I think Akutami wanted it to happen this way, which would make sense because of the gloves. I think Akutami wanted to create a parallel with the Mahito thing to hit home with the theme of connection or whatever, but ended up making one of the most jarring plot developments ever that sent every reader into mass psychosis.
Make Easter moments magical with the Gold Bunny from Lindt. To the visionaries driving change, you inspire us. You see this as a moment of transformation, a shift. You are the ones bold enough to rethink, rebuild, redefine. You focus on what truly matters. What truly matters to you drives us every day. We're committed to being part of your journey.
Hydrodomynus suppurativa. And the pain that comes with it, it's a part of me, and I know how to manage it. With Bimzelx, I'm back to fewer HS symptoms.
Only Bimzelx targets and blocks IL-17A plus F to calm inflammation. Then he saw at least a 50% reduction, with some even seeing 75% reduction. Fast relief of HS symptoms for results that last. And many felt less pain. Serious side effects like suicidal thoughts and behavior, infections and lowered ability to fight them, liver problems, and inflammatory bowel.
The shit, the energy, then slowing through the shit, the energy suckers, the shit men. There's so many floating around. I'm just like, oh, I'm supposed to have a date this weekend, but he's just gone quiet. I have no idea why. That's with Zach. Lee, he's constant. Like, we message every day, all day, ring. He's really nice. Then Shay, the new guy, reminds me of Nathan. He's, you know, yeah.
Those are 3 out of 3. 1, 2, 3. Fucking fire. 1, 2, 3, fire. Yeah, it's just an ass pull. It's an ass pull of an ass pull. It's impossible to justify. It's impossible to make sense of, and you only get like very. It's like you get like the most tedious thematic tidbits ever. I would damn near call this a thematic non sequitur. And what I mean by that is what the author was trying to do with this pretty much does not connect to what he actually wrote. What he was trying to do with his intent does not connect to how it actually comes across. Yeah, ass pulls. Imagine Sakura got her shit blown smooth off in the painting, and then this is literally the moment she comes back out of nowhere. That's exactly what happened in Nobara and JJK, and I'm so for real. So tired of people wanting to force her comeback as well written just because they saved her. Yeah, probably think I'd probably say it's not that bad. I wouldn't, because if you say things like this, I definitely think you're going too far. Because Nobara did have a chance of surviving. The point isn't about her surviving or not, even though she did have a good chance of surviving. I definitely think you're trying too hard over here. And if you think the comeback is well written, like I said, there's small thematic tidbits to make someone believe that. So the justification is there. If this happened in Naruto, like the way he was talking about, there is no real theme pushed there. It's just a very corny panel. At least this panel right here, it's pretty corny, but it's not the worst shit ever. This is a corny, this right here is corny. The panel of Akashi going, my students, they've come so far while this happens, is corny as fuck. If power ever comes back like this, I'm done. If she sees this woman's bad. I think if this woman's bad, then I'll take away any bad thing I've ever said. So I'm gonna say some bad stuff. We have to fucking wait now? We have to wait? Are you serious? I'll give you guys a progress report with that if I end up getting accepted. A character getting ghosted for most of the manga's run. Are you serious? I'll give you guys a progress report with that if I end up getting accepted. A character getting ghosted for most of the manga's run and then coming back when they're just that's pretty funny. I'll give that one a like. Nah, the Goku image is pretty corny. I don't know if this is Goku. I'm not a Dragon Ball fan. Nobara was really getting a Kishimoto level treatment from Gege, and people in the timeline were hyping it up. Masatsune Kaizen. I don't know about Kishimoto level. This is corny, right? JJK fans, when it comes to eating trash, yeah, I love trash, yum trash. That's corny. Weak ass character should have stayed down. This gift is so fucking funny, bro. This gift is dead ass so funny. I be trying to do this to people at my job. Anyway, they soft launched Nobara Return Revisionist on the timeline. Who would have thought, bro? Who would have thought? A person that has me blocked also is corny as fuck. Who would have thought? This is a funny gift, I can't lie. That's so funny. Gege isn't even ready for the conversation. That's funny. A fusion of bait and mental retardation. I'm not gonna lie, I gotta say that. That's pretty funny. I gotta say that. Okay, this is corny. I know this is kind of boiled down to me just saying what's corny, what's funny, but we gotta say this is corny, right? This don't even look like Speed, bro. This don't even look like it. It looks like the nigga's sleeping. It literally looks like What I love most about this moment is learn how to read, bro. What I love most about this moment is she wasted no time getting back into action after being unconscious for months. Even though it seems like an asshole, it's very true to her character. Her squad was in trouble and she came in clutch. See, what I really don't like, I already knew Sean over here was gonna say some nonsense. 29, damn. I already knew Sean was gonna say some nonsense that behind DJ for his tag, but he said he loves this moment. Dude said he loves this moment.
Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, you're wanting to know when you will meet your soulmate, or if you have already. Going by your cards, the Empress being in the primary position and reversed shows that right now things haven't been the best for you when it comes to romance. And as far as your soulmate, you have not met them yet. It's saying that you'll meet them at some sort of social function, most likely a party of some sort, indicated by Three of Cups in the middle position. Four of Pentacles in the final position is mainly just warning that you do need to make sure that you're allowing yourself to be put out there and that you're being social. Otherwise, you will miss the chance at meeting this person. I think it is important to keep in mind that when it comes to soulmates, you both need to be in the right place and have the proper energy, which also means being receptive to whatever comes your way. So I know it can be a bit of a drain and difficult, but as long as you're putting in an effort to talk to people and let new people into your life, then once you finally encounter your soulmate, it will go off without a hitch. Now, as far as the exact timing, it does seem like this moment will take place during this summer. So you should be ready for that event to happen during that time. Now, if you want further information regarding what kind of person this soulmate is, as well as things such as any issues you both might have, you can give me a call or send me a message. Finish line.
If you have sensitive or reactive skin, you do not need more steps or more ingredients. You need minimal ingredient formulas that are actually going to respect your skin barrier. And I've partnered with La Roche-Posay to show you products that I recommend all the time for that exact reason. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Alexandra Brown. I'm a board-certified dermatologist, and welcome back to my channel. As someone with sensitive skin, I am very picky on what I use, also what I recommend. And honestly, I've kind of learned this the hard way. As both a dermatologist and someone with sensitive skin, I've learned that more ingredients don't equal better results. Overdoing it is usually what leads to redness, tightness, and irritation. This is the Tolerion Milky Cleanser, and it's exactly the type of cleanser I personally look for. It has a 9-ingredient formula that melts away makeup and impurities, but it doesn't disrupt skin's natural moisture barrier. When I rinse this off, my skin feels clean, not tight, and that's a big deal for me. You guys have seen how easily my skin gets irritated, and also I love that I can use it around my eyes without any irritation. Yes, you heard that. Coming from a derm with dry, sensitive skin and really sensitive eyes, I use this to remove my eye makeup with no irritation whatsoever. If you have sensitive or reactive skin like I do, or if your skin tends to feel tight or uncomfortable after cleansing.
Hey, has it been like 2 hours? Okay, I'll end this one.